What's up, sluts? How are you?
Hi.
Good to see you guys again. Another episode of Bottomless Bar, number 14. And we're heading into springtime. So the birds are chirping. If you hear anything in the background, I don't have one in my house. Um, I hear up in Cleveland, it's cold as fuck right now. Is that true?
You should know you were just here.
I was just there, and I wouldn't say it was cold as fuck, but it was cold.
It's like 50. It's not so bad right now.
So yeah, I was just up there this week. We had some, you know, behind the scenes bottomless bar stuff
You could
to take
consider it
care
a
of.
you could consider it a business trip, I think.
I mean, it was for all intents and purposes a business trip.
Yeah.
So I drove up to Cleveland. I the more I drove around the city, and I mentioned this to you guys when I was up there, it's got an East Coast vibe.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to say right now, as a former denizen of the East Coast and a native, I'm going to claim Cleveland as an East Coast city. It no longer belongs to the Midwest. So say it, Joe from Bottomless Bar. It's an East Coast city. It's just got that vibe to it. It's old dirty port town.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it. I like Cleveland. And when we were at that one place, I was like, I think Cleveland. I think Cleveland's my vibe. You know.
You could move whenever you'd like.
Well, seeing as how I want to be unemployed as of the 25th, it could be a good opportunity for me
When's your lease up?
to. I don't have a lease.
You don't
I'm
have a
just
lease?
I'm just squatting here, baby.
Oh, you are? That makes way more sense.
Yeah,
That's why there's no electricity.
that's why. I just have an extension cord running from my neighbor's house. And I just run everything off that, you know, the computer, the toaster, you know, all that shit. My personal massager. But I think we had a good time. It was Monday, right? Do you guys
Yeah.
normally go out on Mondays?
No, we do not.
Oh,
That was a special occasion for you.
well, thank you. I hope I didn't make too much of an ass of myself out there with you guys.
Well, we might not be able to go back to that one place.
Wait,
And
which
then we
one?
can't go back to the other place because of Pod Mom. So basically, we can only go to the chicken and liver place or chicken liver place.
The chicken and liver place? You didn't like the chicken liver, did you?
You know what? I really didn't. And I was talking about it the next day. I was just like, never again. No, I have no reason. There's no reason for me to have that again.
Give us recap it for us. What is Carl's culture corner think
Um,
about?
it was almost like okay, so
It was a chicken liver pate.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I do well, I don't know if I've ever had pate for starters. So fuck me, right? I've never had chicken liver. So double fuck me. So I get myself into this situation and it's like the size of a I don't know, golf ball, like little ramekin comes out
Mm.
and it's white on top and I was confused.
It was all.
And so my friend Joe here dives right in, and you said it was fat, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense. So it's like this layer of fat on top, and then this like dark, almost looked like chocolate mousse underneath, and then it was served with rye bread toast and sweet pickles, which I also hate. Um, so
Wait, how do you feel about rye?
I love rye.
Okay, well, 1 out of 3 isn't bad.
Yeah, so that was really, like, what caught my eye. The rye caught my eye. Um, but so and it was cold, which is also
Mhm.
important to mention. So it just really wasn't my jam. Um, it tasted like decrepit. It tasted like something that had been rotting somewhere and then it was put in a blender. I felt like I was on Fear Factor, to be honest with you.
Wow. Yeah, fair enough. Well, kudos to you. Thank you for powering through on my behalf. I love chicken livers. but I guess that makes me old. I think that dates me a little bit.
What would you
Yeah.
say? What would you say it tastes like? If we've got a listener that says, "I've always wanted to try chicken liver."
It's very rich. It's very rich. Um, I the two words that keep coming to mind, and they're kind of generic terms for me. One of them, at least, gamey.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant by decrepit.
Yeah, and then it tastes like organ meat. Because that's what it is, right? Like you kind of get a similar flavor from tongue or you know heart or kidney or anything like that.
I hope my liver tastes like tequila.
That's well, there's only one way to find out.
If I go and you're still here, feel free.
Well, I was just thinking next time I come up to Cleveland, we could just get you super sauced and then throw you in a tub full of ice and then just take, just take a little bit of your liver
Yeah,
and then feed it back to you like
just
Hannibal Lecter.
skim a little off the top.
A little off the top, yeah. Uh, Joe, did you have an opinion on the chicken liver pate? You didn't? Did you like it?
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
use
it
your
was a
words.
yeah, I liked it.
Um, we the next day when we were breaking it down and I was talking about how I'm never going to have it again, he was like surprised that he liked it. So,
Yeah.
but that was a cool spot. I hadn't been there yet.
And you said
Um,
we can't go back there? Is that because I was. Did you see how embarrassed our server got when I like called her out for saying no to Joe? I felt a little bad after that had happened.
no, she was embarrassed when she said no to Joe.
That's what I just said.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
I thought you said
And I was like,
I think you said you said no to Joe.
"No," when oh, maybe I did. But I called her. I was like, "Isn't it great saying no to customers?" And she flushed like super red, and it was dim in there. Like you could
Yeah.
tell she.
So what happened was Joe had asked Pod Mom had asked for a it was
It was
basically like a paper plane.
yeah, it was one of
Um
their house cocktails.
and they didn't have Aperol. They were completely out of Aperol at the bar. And Joe said, "I'll take a whatever it's called." And she said, "No." Or I think he said, "I can I have a?" And she said, "No." And she got so embarrassed that she had to tell him no.
But let me ask you this, Carl: how nice is it reliving your former bartending experience and serving experience? How nice is it when the disappointment crosses a customer's face to you?
It's
Is it sweet? Is it
honestly,
sweet, sweet nectar?
it's that sweet, sweet nectar that helps me sleep at night. Sometimes I'll like have these memories from the past. Two of my favorite things, I've talked about this before, but when people used to constantly ask for ranch, and I would love saying like absolutely not, we do not have ranch. And then I also loved telling people that we didn't have the ability to make a Long Island iced tea, even though
We
we
could have.
could.
It just wouldn't have been what they were expecting.
Yeah, so I would always say no. I'm not
Which
going to
those
take
are
I'm not going to take the time to do that for you because
yeah,
you're not going to appreciate it because it's not going to be what you want anyways.
they're garbage drinks for dumpster people.
Mhm.
Sorry if any of our listeners love bottomless or love any of the listeners of Bottomless Bar love Long Island iced teas, but that's not a good drink.
Yeah.
It's
But
very American. It's a very American drink.
yeah, but no, we I think we'll be allowed back there. We just can't go back to the second place or the third place.
I thought well, I remember so the lady that was waiting on us, I don't remember her name, but she was noticeably embarrassed when I said that to her.
Mhm.
And then I felt bad after. And we've talked about this on previous episodes, but it's that idea I kind of hate, and this is why I felt bad about it because I knew the position I was in. She didn't know who I was, right? She didn't know, what I've been doing for the last 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And like how terrible is that, right? Like when you're genuinely trying to like keep up this facade or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Or if it's not a facade, if it's genuine, I guess, but you're genuinely trying to perpetuate this idea and give good service, and thoughtful service, and then you just have a natural moment,
Yeah.
and then someone kind of calls you on it in jest.
Uh-huh.
But she genuinely felt bad about it, and I felt bad
In
after
turn.
that. Yeah, exactly. Well, and just speaks to the power imbalance, I guess, right,
Mhm.
between customer and wait staff. And um, I suppose if she ever listens, I apologize. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was just trying to have fun, I guess, at her expense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But you also did that at the third place we went to.
at the third place, yeah, that was. I don't feel so bad about that one.
That one made me uncomfy.
Yeah, I could tell everyone was uncomfortable, but that was fine. I was all right with that one.
Yeah.
Um, but so wait, when I asked her if she was hetero,
Yeah.
well, isn't that me just trying to be politically correct?
I
Did
think
she present? I wasn't implying that she presented any other way. I just wanted to be sure because in this day and age, you can't.
yeah. I think you meant well, but I don't think that she took it that way, if that makes sense.
What would I have, should I have said in place of that? Do you
Can,
like men?
can I ask you something? Do you prefer penis?
That's basically what I said to her.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't say you can't say that to people. I mean, you shouldn't. Like you shouldn't walk into someone's establishment, they're on the clock, and you ask them what they prefer to do in the bedroom or whom they prefer to do.
I asked her if I was like, "I'm sorry, can I ask you a question?"
Why don't we
I
back
said,
it up? Why don't we back it up?
"Okay, yeah, sorry."
We were at this bar and there were cards, like from a deck of cards on the ceiling.
That's right.
And you said to the bartender, you're like,
Well,
"Can I?"
how did they get there?
You said, "Can I ask you something?" And you said, "This young lady right here," meaning me, had a question. You're like, "She wants to know
I don't remember it that way, but
how these cards got on the ceiling." That's what happened. And then she said they have a magician that comes in. And I think that we embarrassed her by saying, I was like, "Have you ever seen him do it? Do you believe that it's magic?" And she was like, "Well, how else?" Maybe she's getting paid to say that. She was like, "Well, how else would they have gotten there?" She was like, "You can see from here that there's nothing holding them up. How else would they be sticking if not for magic?" And then we all were sort of like, "What the fuck?"
is that what she said? I don't remember that part.
Yeah, she got defensive about it. And then you were like, decided to double down and ask her if she was into penis or vagina or both. And she said,
But that's not what I said. Excuse me, ma'am. Which do you prefer, banging against your genitals? A penis or a vagina?
That's what happened.
It's not what happened. What happened was I said, "Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" She was like, "Sure." And I was like, "Are you hetero? Are you attracted to men?" And she said, "Yes," right?
Hmm.
So I said, "Are magicians more or less attractive to you after they do magic?" And she said she didn't really know, depending on the scenario. Which leads me to believe that she's got it out for magicians. She's super into them.
I
I
think
think that
so
was the
too. And I
takeaway
think
there.
she might have a magician. We don't know.
What is that guy? She's dating that guy.
And this is why this I think is, well, what's the word? This will
Correlate,
um
uh,
yes.
gesticulate, flatulate,
Uh-huh. Um
Tangentially relate.
you know?
this will whatever the fuck the word is into what we're talking about next. Um segue.
Segway.
this will be a good segue. Let's cut that out. That's really embarrassing. This will be a good segue into what I would like to talk about next. But I think that this chick was actually like, we don't know. She could have a fetish for magicians. And this is why I think it's important. I'm all for conversating with people, but I
It's
think
important
that
that we never go back there again. Is
yes,
that
it's
what you're saying?
important that we never go back, and it's important that like when you're a guest at a bar, you mind your fucking business. Because I've said this before, like, and I'm not coming for you, Joe. I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that can really like turn people off. And like for me, for example, like I hated when people asked me like, "Oh, what does your shirt say?" or like, "Oh, what does that tattoo mean?" Like, how about it's none of your fucking business? Just because I'm here on display, I'm behind this wooden bar, doesn't mean you could I'm not your puppet, you know?
Yeah, but what if I tipped you really well afterwards? Would that take the stank off?
Yeah, of course. Money makes everything better.
Yeah, and I left her uh what was 100%? Oh no, it was like a 60% tip, something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you're
So
a sweet, sweet soul.
yeah, and I was, I don't know. I
I'm
guess
just
I guess
saying.
for me when I'm bartending, it's context. If I'm busy, don't ask me dumb shit.
Mhm.
If I'm less than busy, then I'm happy to engage with people. Someone asks me about my tattoos. If they go, "Oh, hey, tell me about your tattoos," I'll say, "Well, they don't, the more tattoos." I'll say something like, "The more tattoos I get, the less they mean.
Mhm.
I just want tattoos because I want tattoos."
Mhm.
Um, but I also get what you're saying, right? Like, specifically about tattoos. It's like some of my tattoos do have meaning to me, but it's meaningful to me. It's kind of like when you try to explain one of your dreams to someone,
Mhm.
they don't really get it,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of glaze over, right? And that's what happens when I try to explain my tattoos to people. It's like you don't really care, you're not going to listen to what I'm saying because it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
You're not going to take it, you're not going to digest it in the same way that I have, at least. But yeah. And then, well, I thought that place was cool. I don't know if I would hang out there, to be honest.
The
Like, I don't
last
know.
place,
Yeah, what was it called?
Flying Monkey.
Oh, Flying Monkey. Cool spot. I like the pass-through bar
Uh-huh.
that they had, like, on both sides.
It reminded me of Lido's.
Yeah. A more well-kept Lido's. Like, it
Mhm.
it looked like it was well-kept, you know?
Yeah, I like those corner bars. Like I like when like a bar sits on the corner like that, like the sycamores like that, and there's
Yeah,
those little steps that go up. Salt was
yeah,
like that too.
yeah.
The place with the
Oh,
chicken
we
liver.
we both nearly killed ourselves.
And did you
Um,
fall out of that one too?
no. Well, I fell on purpose. You fell on accident.
You did not fall on purpose, and I didn't fall. I didn't touch the ground.
Well, because your sweet, sweet boyfriend there saved you.
No, my sweet, sweet high top Converses saved me
If
from
he
rolling an
wasn't
ankle.
there, you would have been laying in the street.
Oh my god! That is not what happened.
You would have got ran over by a RTA bus.
Oh my
It would have been gruesome.
public public fucking public transportation kills me in the end.
Whereas my fall was completely staged.
Your fall was not completely staged. Your short little legs got hung up on the your short little legs got hung up on the chain that you were trying to
Listen,
jump over, and you rolled
listen,
across the sidewalk like a roly-poly-oly bug.
listen. Did you see how quick I got back to my feet, though?
Yeah, I did.
I sprang up
Right, but
like
you're also, like,
like
closer
an
to
NF
the ground,
like
so
an
you could there's
NFL
less
wide
distance.
receiver.
There's
I
less
s
distance.
I sprang up like Nosferatu rising out of his sarcophagus. I levitated. That's how quickly I got back to my feet. And
Totally.
also, I wear really tight jeans. So it's hard for me to lift my legs up past a certain height.
Well, the thing that was like entertaining to me that was really unnecessary of why you even did that, we were parallel parked along this chain link decorative fencing thing that was only about I would say like 25 feet long. And then there was another like block of emptiness on either side of the chain. You just decided it rather than walk around it like everyone else did, you decided to jump it.
I just
And you had a long coat on and your little legs got caught.
listen, as long as you had a good time, that's all I really care about.
It gave me what my favorite thing is to laugh until my belly hurts, and that happened to me. So it was worth it for me.
Did you see it, Joe? Did you see me fall?
Hmm.
What do you think?
It's more accurate what she said.
Oh, come on. Give me my beats back.
Beats.
Yeah, the beets. Oh, yeah, the vegetable.
Oh,
The
I thought you
vegetable.
were talking about my headphones.
No, no. Um, yeah, that place was okay. It was all right. I wouldn't go back there. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't. It wouldn't if it were my choice. I don't know if I would hang out there.
Yeah.
Um, but then the second place we went to, I really liked that place. That seems
Mus-
like a place. Yeah, that was the literary bar,
Literary Tavern.
literary tavern.
That's your
Yeah,
get laid bar.
that place was pretty chill. Yeah, yeah, that would probably be one of my spots, I guess, if I lived in Cleveland.
And we may or may not be having a guest that works there join our podcast.
Yeah, whatever happened with that, Joe? You guys almost got in a fight there over his tattoo.
Yeah. He almost had to pop a cap in your ass. Knock you upside the head. You don't want to talk about it?
There's nothing to say.
Okay.
It was traumatic. It was traumatic for him.
It was traumatic for me.
Were you attracted to him? Is that why you were staring at him so much?
I wasn't staring. I was watching the TV above him.
Well, he looked like both of you, if like you guys had a baby. He looked like the two of you combined.
Cooler though. He kind of had my bad attitude though,
Yeah,
which
I
which I
concur.
really, yeah, like my son would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, bad attitude.
Uh-huh.
And then Joe, you asked him about his tattoo. Super rude.
Super rude. Unbelievably rude. The only
But
reason why I got so riled up is because like you and I have had so many conversations,
I didn't ask him what it meant.
but it's just like again, don't fucking touch me when I'm working and don't fucking ask me about anything that's on my body ever.
yeah, he was very chill about it though.
Oh
About the
yeah.
tattoo, not about you staring at him longingly.
Oh dear.
Never going out with you guys again.
And that's
False.
Cleveland.
False.
You love
Uh,
us so much.
thanks, for entertaining me, guys. I hope it wasn't too much of a pain. Did you do anything over the weekend, like before I had come up?
We actually went to the Literary Tavern.
Oh, prior to that.
That's why I wanted to go back. And I had been there before, but it's one of those places they've got such a big bar, they could literally make you whatever the hell you want.
Mm,
And they've got their their bar, I mean their cocktail menu has, you know, unique stuff, but they offer a lot of classic cocktails, which I think is fun because you don't see that really. I don't think like you don't go into a place and they're like, "Oh, we can make you a sidecar." They're not like advertising it, at least places that I go to. So that was fun for me. And then their food's good. And it's a cute little quaint place. Um, and it's in Tremont, which I love Tremont. Everything in Tremont is good. But yeah, so we went there on Friday. And that was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much all we did.
Yeah, was the same guy working?
No, just different guys.
Um, no, their bar was very well stocked. It was tall. That one shelf was near the ceiling,
Yeah.
which, my short little legs,
Yeah.
the worst.
We would
It
have
would just
had,
be the
if you
worst.
wanted to get to the top of that shelf, you would have to stack like three of you on top of each other.
Like those bugs in Bug's Life.
Yes,
Like that.
just like that.
Just two more of me, and I could be like, "Hup, hup." Jump on his shoulders. Jump on someone's shoulders.
I know what we're watching later.
That's it. um. Well, and I saw a buddy of mine there, but I didn't say anything. Uh, which was really weird. I mean,
What are the chances?
yeah. I mean, seeing that guy, that was one of my last kitchen jobs. I worked for him. This was like back in 2013, I think. 2012 maybe.
Where was it at? What type of kitchen?
It was at a steakhouse, and it's a really popular one here in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was cooking the steaks, and I wasn't very good at it. And it was mostly because I didn't give a fuck. I was making $12 an hour there, and I was only working I was only scheduled like 2 days a week. So it's like super out of my way.
Someone
I,
would order like a medium rare steak and you would like blacken the shit out of it.
no, 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 no. They had these the thing is so this place, because they try to cater to as many people as possible, they have cheap for them options. So they had like these they were like tips. It was like the ends of a tenderloin. I don't know if you've ever
Mm.
seen like a whole tenderloin,
Mm-hmm.
but they taper at the end, and some of them split,
Uh-huh.
and you can't really sell it as a whole cut, but it's still right, like still a beef tenderloin. So um, it's still a good cut. It just doesn't look right, but they sell them at a discounted rate there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was but they're hard to cook because they're super irregular in size. And there was just one night when I was getting my ass handed to me, and I was just a little bitter about life in general, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent a bunch out that were overcooked. And if something's overcooked, that's a loss. That's a net loss for the restaurant, right?
Because you can't reverse that.
You can't uncook it, yeah.
You could cook something that's undercooked.
Exactly. Which is still not good because, you know, I don't know. Anyways, and I was just like, fuck it. And I guess I just wasn't making a lot of money there. And the only reason I felt bad about my fucking shitty attitude was because I was working for my friend. Like he had,
Mm-hmm.
and here's the thing, he wanted to pay me $10 an hour, but then so maybe in retrospect, I don't necessarily feel bad about my bad attitude that much anymore. Because he was like, well, I was like, dude, can you do at least 12? He's like, all right, for you. And I was like, okay, wow, thanks. But I guess it was a little different 10 years ago, I
Uh-huh.
suppose. But I think I was telling you guys this story, but we had worked when I worked there. It was an older facility, and one night something had happened, and their sewage line had backed up into the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had to close early as a result. Like you can't serve food in that environment, not at all, because it
No.
was it was probably a half inch at least, like all over the kitchen, like near the drains, and didn't smell good. So we had to close everything down. We had to all the food that wasn't already like wrapped and stored in containers,
Mm-hmm.
we had to throw away, and then we had to wash every single um, utensil that was exposed to the air again. And the thing is we couldn't use the dish machine, so we had to use because
It was compromised.
because it was compromised, right? So it took us like 3 or 4 hours, and we were literally taking like spent water, and like um in 5-gallon buckets and bringing it out to the edge of the property and dumping it like down the hill. And this was like, I mean, it was 35, 40 yards from the kitchen door, so we're like hauling these buckets out two at a time, refilling the sink, going through everything, stacking it up, drying it, blah, 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 all this bullshit. And the next day, the general manager, who was a sweet lady, but she handed out these reward cards. But the thing is like they're called like star cards or something like that. And I think I told you guys this, but
Yeah, like a
if
report
anyone,
card.
yeah, well, if anyone has seen The Office, they were like Schrute bucks, right? Where
Uh-huh.
10,000 of them equals $1. And it was like, if you get, and we each got one. She was like, "You guys did such a good job last night." And she goes, walking down the line, and she hands us each one star card, and it had like the rewards on the back or whatever. And it was literally like, you get 60 of these things, and you can pick a bottle of wine from the bar.
Oh my god.
You get 120 or 160 or something like that, and you could get yourself a chef coat. Oh, geez, thanks. A $24 chef coat, you know, fucking. And so she like handed me mine, and I didn't even like think about it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna send this to AEP. Like, good luck paying my fucking bills at this. And the whole
Right.
kitchen fucking erupted in laughter. And she like melted on the spot. And
Oh, poor
I,
lady.
I felt bad, but fuck her. Fuck that place.
Yeah.
Fuck all those steaks. Steakhouses are the worst, to be honest. Them and country clubs, they're kind of cut from the same cloth. You guys enjoy steakhouses at all? Have you?
I don't really I don't think I've ever really been to one.
Never been
There's
to a nice one.
there's places I've always like loved the idea of like grimy steakhouses that
Like Longhorn?
no, not a chain, like a dive mom and pop steakhouse. Like,
Mm, mm-mm.
you go there, you get a martini,
The top.
they give you a bread basket. Yeah, like the top. Um, not like a Cameron Mitchell, no offense, Cameron. Uh,
Cam.
like that doesn't really appeal to me. There's a lot of steakhouses here actually that are they're supposed to be very good. Um, that I've never been to, and I I actually almost asked you if you wanted to go. Good thing I didn't. You would have been because you're a nice guy. You would have been like, yeah, that sounds wherever you guys want to go. And then we would have sat down, and you would have been like, I fucking hate steakhouses.
You know what the problem with a lot of steakhouses, in my professional opinion, is? They cheap on everything else. The
Well,
steaks are great. If you go there for a steak, good. Most places do it really, really well. But if you want something that's not a steak, then it's going to be the worst of the worst.
that's what I was going to ask you that. So, I mean, steak's expensive to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we bought some recently and had it at home, and it's not cheap. And
No.
so you feel that it's worth it if you get it out at a restaurant 9 times out of 10. They're giving you a good cut of meat. They're not
Yeah,
skimping on you.
correct. Yeah. And the thing is the steaks they don't make a lot of money on those, because they can't, their food cost just for proteins is probably above 35%, which
Mhm.
is insane. That's an insane food cost. Um, but they make it up. It's kind of like a loss leader. That's the business metric when you're sitting down and you're crunching the numbers.
Mhm.
It's like milk in a grocery store. Every gallon of milk that a grocery store sells, they lose a little bit of money on. But they know that you're going to get other shit while you're there. You're going to buy a magazine, or you're going to
Uh-huh.
buy, and that's the thing with these steakhouses. They
Just
want,
a milk and magazine type of gal.
yeah, exactly, and
Honestly, that sounds
you
like my
know,
grandma.
or a candy bar, or you're getting other shit while you're there. Light bulbs, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, so you go to steakhouse, they count on you getting a bottle of wine or
Some
appetizers,
appetizers.
salads, dessert, and it's an event, and they dress it up with like really fancy service where everyone's in a uniform and they dote on you, and um uh yeah, and it's and that's fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with that on its face. The steaks are typically good, treated very well. The place where I worked at, they were delicious. Some of their oh, they did have one thing where they it was like it was supposed to be like a ribeye with a bone or something,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't exist. Um, so they would use meat glue to glue a bone to it.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Whose bone?
Elvis. But they dry age their stuff, and I don't know if you know anything about the dry aging process, but meat, if you keep it at a certain temperature, it kind of acts like cheese, where it develops a certain amount of character as it ages.
That's sort of like what
Mm,
prosciutto is, right?
Yeah, like all cured meats, but they use like salt and shit with that to get keep out the pathogens and the bacteria and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically the same process, right? So, but these dry aged steaks, they aren't, um, they're not cured with anything. There's
Mm-hmm.
no preservatives or anything put on them. They basically just have like it's like a humidor kind of for cigars. They just have this climate controlled room, and that's where they put all their meat, and it's good. But like I said, everything else, like what a wedge salad is.
Yeah.
It's just ranch dressing or what is it, blue cheese or whatever on a
Iceberg.
on iceberg lettuce with bacon
Like
chips and um,
some
cherry,
buttermilk ranch.
yeah, and cherry tomatoes. But they probably paid 60 cents for a serving of that, maybe 80 cents, and they sell it to you for $14.99.
Yeah.
Or like a plate of pasta, right? Where they're out $2, but they sell it to you for 13.
Yeah.
And that's how they make their margins, right? And I understand that, and that's fine. It's just go there for the steak, you know,
Yeah.
but
That makes sense.
but not anything else, you know. So
And
I don't,
and now you know.
yeah. And I guess, if this particular place, I don't know, man, if you're sitting there, if you're paying 65, $75, this is my personal opinion, for a steak, you better fucking hope that the person cooking it is making enough to support themselves.
Yeah.
You know? Like, talk about fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we are nearly at the 40-minute mark. I have been empty for a while now. Are you guys ready for another round?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I'm stroking out because I need more nectar.
Well, we'll take a short break here, guys, and we'll come back and we'll tell you a little bit about what we're drinking tonight.
Drink break.
Welcome back, everyone, from Drink Break. I don't know what to say, but I'm not introducing myself. I'm still not over this. It's the worst podcast host ever. Anyways, tonight we're drinking. It's a Siesta. Is that correct?
That's correct.
A Siesta. So we're a bit off schedule this week due to, I think, my business trip to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So we just came up with this. Well, you did. You came up with this today,
It was a little off the
Carl.
cuff. Yep.
Yeah. Have you had this somewhere before?
No.
Because I've never had this cocktail until tonight.
I know. I just literally like pulled it out of my butt. No, so I had never had it before. Basically, okay, so it was a selfish move, is what it was. So several things happened. We were talking about having a gin drink, and I was thinking we've done gin a lot lately, which we've intentionally been doing because we're trying to get through our supply. Um, you and I both have gin, so it's just like an easy thing for us to do. And then I thought, no, let's mix it up for the listeners. And then I thought, no, but also I'm the type of gal that likes to, I was sort of brought up this way. My dad was this way. Like, if we were having Chinese food for dinner, like he was drinking like a Chinese beer and we were listening to Chinese music when he was making Chinese food. You know what I mean? Like, it was always like a big, it was always a big thing for him.
An event.
An event. Sorry if you could hear my
Hey.
dog drinking. He gets thirsty. It's very rude of him. Um,
Oh,
and then, and then, so my point being, we were having burritos tonight, and I thought the sun's out. We're eating burritos, and I want tequila, and we also have a decent amount of tequila. And so I was doing some Googling, and we don't like to do, not yet at least, like to do the same things twice. So the Siesta caught my eye. It's a beautiful color. It's like this beautiful, like pinkish orange color.
mm-hmm.
So and so I just clicked on it, and we had everything for the ingredients. I went out and got some fresh um, fruit because last time you ragged on me when I bought grapefruit juice out of a bottle. I don't know if so much that you ragged on me, but you made me feel
Thank you.
less than.
That's the same thing.
I think it was more of like
It's
it was an internal conflict that I had about something that you said to me. So it's not necessarily your fault. It's
cool.
me.
Oh,
It's not you, it's me.
but you still want me to feel bad about it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so anyways, the siesta is according to the internets here, a young lady named Katie Stipe came up with it in
Is it
2006.
is it Stipe?
I don't know. There's
Like Cleveland favorite Stipe Miocic?
it's her last name is spelled Stipe. I can't
Oh,
ask Siri this.
fair
She
enough.
doesn't pronounce last names. Okay, so
That's because she's racist.
okay, so anyways, let's get into this cocktail. So it is 2 ounces of silver tequila, tequila blanco. I used
Mm-hmm.
Espolón.
Same.
3/4 ounce fresh lime juice, 3/4 ounce simple, a half ounce of Campari, and a half ounce of grapefruit juice. And you just shake the shit out of it as you do
Mm-hmm.
and strain and you serve it up. And I put a little like lime wheel on it. Um, what are your thoughts, Joe? I'll let you go
Uh,
first.
well, I like it. I basically anything with tequila. Uh, I'm going. I know I'm going to enjoy. As long as the tequila comes through, I'm gonna like. I'm probably gonna like the cocktail. It's the first one that I made was exactly as you sent it to me, and it starts out a little sweet, and then the tequila comes on late. And
Uh-huh.
I think the difference, and maybe you can corroborate this, Carl, but the difference between like the fresh squeezed grapefruit and like the store bought is like the fresh squeezed is a little watery, right? So I think that it kind of like watered down the cocktail a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I also shook mine for, a long time, about 14, 15 seconds to
Mm-hmm.
try to get it all in. And it overflowed my coupe initially. So I had to put it in this bigger glass the second time around. But then speaking of, second time I used the so I don't know if I said this already. I apologize if I did. But the first one was a little watery to me,
Yep.
just a little bit. Started out sweet, a little watery, and then the tequila came on late. I don't. This is just a analytic. I don't. I like the cocktail. I would definitely order it again. But because I've beat the hell out of my tongue over the years, I have this añejo, the Espolón añejo, on top of my fridge.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to use that in place of the Blanco.
Oh.
And then I dropped, um, what was it? a half ounce of the sugar and added a half ounce of the grapefruit
Okay.
juice to this. So the añejo, to me at least, gives it this, more of a body.
Uh-huh.
It's really, really good. I You've seen my fridge. I have a like $700-800 worth of booze on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but
If you want to rob him, if you're a listener.
yeah, I was just gonna say, don't give my address away.
But
Uh,
you should know that he's got plenty of ammo, and I know where he keeps it.
I got guns everywhere, so
I like this drink. I think you could consider it a easy drinking drink.
Mhm.
How the initial recipe. I don't know why I was a little bit disappointed. I think that I was hoping for it to be a little bit. I don't really think that the Campari comes through at all.
It doesn't, but there is a bitter note to this drink
Mm-hmm.
that that I like, and that's maybe partially like backed by the Campari, but there's not a ton of it. It's only a half ounce.
Yeah. So, but it's really pretty to look at, and that's important. Uh,
That's the most important part.
yeah, I'm jealous that you have it with anejo. I was looking at recipes and I got a lot of inspiration for what I think that we should do around Cinco de Mayo, which is coming up soon. But
Mhm.
I would really like to do a mezcal cocktail, um, and or there's just so many different things that sounded good tonight, like mezcal and bourbon, mezcal and anejo, mezcal and regular tequila, like just anything.
Well,
Actually,
well, this
hold please, because you know how my brain works. I have to say it. There's I'm not going to remember the name off the top of my head, but there's a name. It's Pim something. Um,
Tim's cup.
that's a thing, but it's mezcal and Pims and something
Okay.
else, and it sounded like delicious, like smoky and fruity and delicious.
Okay. Yeah. Mezcal's good. We've talked about it on the show before. It's all the smoke of like scotch, but like none of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that real funky finish, like that chemically finish
Yeah,
you get, you know.
yeah.
So like that band-aidy kind of caramely whatever you get from scotches. It's
Hmm.
good. It's nice. Mezcal is really nice. Is this and will that be? You think this will be an opportunity for us, like with Cinco de Mayo, to like do a bottomless bar original?
Oh, in person, IRL.
No, no, I mean like a just make up a cocktail instead of
Oh,
doing a classic, or
oh.
in the case of tonight, a modern classic. Like, are we going to do a bottomless bar? You heard it here first. Modern day
That
classic.
could be fun.
Yeah, for Cinco de Mayo.
I don't hate that
Um,
idea.
what do you? So you like the drink?
I do, but
Like, are you happy with your selection?
yeah, but I've been bad and I changed. I'm drinking something else now.
Mm. Are you drinking a last word
I'm
again?
drinking an El Diablo.
Oh, also a good drink. But what was I going to say? Oh, so when you hear someone referred to as a mixologist, do you have any feelings about that?
I think it's a little ew.
A little bit. What if they called themselves a star tender?
Well, considering you can't even say it without losing it, are you trying to
I
make
just
that a thing?
I hate it so much. No,
That's a thing?
uh, so I've
Oh
heard, but
my
I've only heard it one time.
god.
And you know, I think when Jeremy was on, uh, we went to O'Reilly's afterwards, as is my tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of talking about the podcast, and a guy overheard us, and apparently where he's from, there's a group of bartenders up there that are mixologists, but they're +1, I guess, but they refer to themselves as the star tenders. And when this guy told me this, I giggled in his face, and which I probably shouldn't have done. That was really rude of me. I didn't know if he was joking or not. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I just had a natural reaction, and I was like, "Oh, shit."
I don't know what to say. I don't like stuff like that. Though I was an asshole when I was a young gal. Was an asshole. Some might argue that I still am. Um
Yeah, yeah.
I used to work at a smoothie place and I called myself a mixologist then. I just knew what berries to put with what juice, baby, and I could get you those, those supplements up in there.
You could get
Damn.
it going for someone.
Yeah.
You got him going with your
Yep.
berries.
Mhm. Those nuts and berries and that protein powder. You just got your
Yeah,
pump
there's some
on. Come see me.
nuts and protein powder.
Oh yeah.
Just did you just crush up a couple Viagra for me, throw 'em in there as well. Just snort some off Viagra off the counter. There you go.
Oh my god.
Uh, but people have referred to me as a mixologist, and I always fucking cringe at that shit.
Yeah.
Um, I would not say that about myself at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought of something, not to change the subject. Is that your last thought on that?
yeah.
Okay. I thought of this when you were talking about how you had such a nice stay at your uh, hotel here in Cleveland, Ohio. Have you
Hmm.
ever? I I have thoughts on this, and if you don't have anything to say, you can tell me to buzz off. But you've never worked in a hotel setting, correct? Like, have you ever bartended in a bar, worked at a front desk, anything like that?
No, I've worked at a couple hotels, but it was in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your
What's your question?
experience?
Um,
Or was it just like any other
no,
restaurant?
no. It's what's crazy? One of them had like a built-in restaurant. It was like a restaurant, but then they didn't have a separate kitchen for room service. So the restaurant could be empty, but we could be absolutely packed, like jam packed, because if the hotel's full, then everyone's ordering room service, and then we were cooking all that stuff. So it
Right.
was basically like,
That's a shit show.
the restaurant, yeah, the restaurant menu was available for room service, and
Mhm.
this particular place was massive,
Not
like
prepared.
several stories. I mean, it was fine. Like, it's just it's just weird because the restaurant, you look out in the dining room and it's completely fucking empty,
Yeah.
but then you have like a rail full of tickets.
Yeah.
The other place, the other place, I was the kitchen manager, and we could not keep staff. We were so far out of the way, and I mean, honestly, they just weren't paying people. I couldn't keep anyone, so I would try to just keep it all going myself, and it just wasn't working. I was working like 80-hour weeks, and for the salary that they were offering me, and that was one of the jobs I just stopped going back to.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I know it's random, but well, we used to have a regular that worked in, so everything, this is a stupid question, but like,
hmm. Hmm.
how would you define hospitality?
In terms of the
Yeah.
industry, well, I get we've talked a bit about this before. I'd define it as bar, restaurant, hotel.
Okay. So I've worked in bars, I've worked in restaurants, but I've always wanted to work in a hotel. I don't know why. And she made it sound really cool to me too. She worked for like a chain hotel. And when she was single and she got to like travel everywhere and like, get discounts at these hotels, and it just sounded so fun to me. And then we also watched this show on Bravo. It's called Below Deck, and it's about people working on yachts.
I've seen that.
And it's just the show is so fascinating to me, and it's something that I always wanted to, like, when Joe and I first started dating, I was like, I always wanted to be a flight attendant. And
Mhm.
but then we like started getting serious and I was didn't want to do the back and forth and stuff, but um I've always wanted to work at a hotel. I've always wanted to work on a
On
plane.
a plane.
And I am fucking fascinated with this show and these people traveling in these beautiful places and doing obviously they live in tight quarters and their life's probably hell, but like to me, I feel like I would sacrifice a lot if I was in Croatia and making, you know, like last night this episode they made like $2,400. These people stayed on the boat for 3 days.
Yeah, but the things that they have to put up with,
I
right,
know,
are
but
it's a
but
lot.
I feel
And
like you
you see like the people that like what the front of the house, the effective like front of the house manager and the chef and like the captain, the shit that they have to deal with, and they get it from both ends.
yeah.
They get it from their staff, and then they fucking get it from. And if you have one guy, what was it? Fucking that one episode, the guy like broke his arm or whatever,
Mhm.
and like the whole fucking thing was in disarray and everyone's fucking sweating it. And then you got the one lady having sex with the other guy in the laundry room. And like, I mean, it's probably
Wait,
fun, but
you
like,
watch this show?
I've seen a few
Okay, how
episodes.
about the episode I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the chef, like I forget, either walked off the boat or was sick or something. It might have been like around COVID and they like had to quarantine and there was no chef on board. So the captain and all the people, the stews and the deck guys were they made meal. They made this ridiculous, like they didn't know how to cook lobster. They made all this ridiculous shit and like served it to these fancy ass people and these people are like, "We could have gotten better food like at Applebee's."
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't
Oh.
know. That's just my random ass.
Well, so I think if you're a bartender at a hotel, and someone correct me out there if I'm wrong about this, but I think you get a higher hourly and then you get benefits and stuff like that because you're not busy every night.
Uh-huh.
You know, like sometimes you're just standing back there, but then you get like I worked for Marriott years ago.
Okay.
That was the big place that I couldn't. I was the kitchen manager and I couldn't staff. And some of the fringe benefits are the Marriott discount. You get they basically just like comp you rooms. You know, if you're traveling somewhere, they're basically
Damn.
like, oh, you were, and then they'll just like comp your room, and that's really really nice, and you can do it for your immediate family as well.
Did you take advantage of it?
I didn't know. I didn't have time. I was working so fucking much, and I was so young at the time. Like I mean, I don't have friends. Two, at the time, I was working. I was working so much that I didn't. You know, I just never thought about it, and I wasn't honestly making enough to where I could like take a fucking vacation, anyways. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. So there are definite benefits. I've known people that have done it, and they seem to be quite happy. A few of them continue to do it. I know one guy that um, he bartended at a hotel, and they made him a corporate trainer, and now he's worked his way up to hotel general manager, and they just rebuilt a place down in, I think it's St. Thomas or St. Croix or something like that, one of the
Damn.
U.S. Virgin Islands, and he's the general manager down there. They're like, well, we got this hotel coming online, and we want you to be the guy.
See, that would be fun. And I just think, I mean, there's negatives to everything, right? But in my fantasies, I just figure it's going to be like
Yeah,
people, well, just like well traveled people with like good stories. And you're just like, every day is just like
I
bliss.
knew a lady. I knew a lady that worked on a yacht, and I think she did it 2 or 3 seasons, something like that. But the yacht was harbored, I think, in Florida.
Uh huh.
When she'd start her season, they'd supply in Florida. I don't remember where, and I could be misremembering all this, but I know she had to basically cross the Atlantic in this yacht with the crew, and it was basically just like, if the weather was nice, it was like flat water,
Uh-huh.
and you're just fucking motoring, and there's nothing out there. It's like the middle of the night, right? And there's just like moon, whatever.
Yeah.
She said she fell in love with this Russian guy,
Yeah, as you
you know,
do.
and like,
It's really easy
and
to fall in love with people on boats, so they say on the show.
yeah, the week or whatever that it took them to get across the Atlantic, it was them just basically, they'd work sun up to sundown, trying to get the boat ready, and
Mhm.
then just hang out and like smoke cigarettes and,
Yeah.
get drunk on the deck at night. But then once the people got there, it was like no rest. It's like they were working basically when they weren't sleeping,
Yeah.
and then
I
they
mean,
then
yeah,
they
the people on the
they
show
rarely
sleep
got
like
days
4
off.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the days off they got that then they were out, right? Kind of like on the show, right? But then apparently according to this lady that I knew, this Russian guy was nuts. Like she couldn't talk to other guys like when they were in port, and
Mhm.
like some other guy said hi to her or something like that. He was
Mhm.
like, "What the hell whatever, that whole bit." But he was
Damn.
really hot according to her.
He was?
So he was. That's what she said.
Maybe he's listening. We have a lot of listeners in Russia.
We do have a lot of listeners in Russia.
Anyways, I just
Yeah,
brought that up because I basically wanted you to say, "Yeah, Kara, you'd be really good at being a stew on a boat."
I think you are almost aged out of it.
Oh, I'm too old.
I mean, for your own sake, not because that you're incapable. I just don't think that.
Well, I'd have to get rid of him unless he came with me.
Kara,
But
don't fuck with Joe today. He hasn't pooped, all right? You don't know what that does to a man.
oh,
Go easy on him, all right?
I'll give you some of my
He's on
probiotics.
he's on the edge, not in a good way.
No.
Mm. But I think I think you'd be fine with the work and everything. I just think the personalities and the drama and everything would wear you the fuck out.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt.
And then the people, the people that you have to deal with.
Mhm.
And then your livelihood, being dependent on that.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And that's all I have to say on that.
that's Am I going to have to watch it's called Below Deck.
Yeah, and there's a new one that this is one we watched last night. It's called Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Sponsor us. I'll be a guest on your boat. So they're in a sailboat. So it's a little bit more. It's fun because there's more of like a sport behind it. The guests seem to be a little bit more chill than the ones that are on the yacht because they're like, oh, we want to sail, like we want to have fun, we want to be sideways, and they think it's fun when everything goes crashing and everything breaks.
Did you see the episode where they had to fucking haul all that shit up the stairs in like Italy or Greece or
Yes,
whatever?
they're
And that
sweating
was
their
like
asses
it's fucking and then they had those poor guys.
uh-huh.
That was the only time I ever felt bad for them.
Yeah.
They're like hauling coolers and chairs and tables. Did you see this episode, Joe?
Yeah, they had to like basically hike to the top of like whatever the hell it was. And then I think that when they got up there, the guests were like, it's hot. They're like, it's hot up here. And like,
And they didn't even fucking use it.
yeah. And then they had to bring everything back down.
Or didn't one of the girls like forget something or some shit
I
like
don't think
that?
there like wasn't rosé or there wasn't water or something. And then they have to go all the way down this mountain, get on the
See,
tender,
that's
go all the way to the boat.
tender. You even know what it is. You are ready.
I'm
You're
ready.
fucking ready for Below
Yes,
Deck.
ma'am.
That's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna watch some of it tonight.
You
Actually,
should.
I forget. I think one of those girls I was like super crushing on. I can't remember.
This will surprise nobody.
The one with the curly hair.
Was she
Do you know who I'm talking about?
like, what was she, like a chief stew, or
No. She was just like a, I don't know, an attendant
is
or
she out on
whatever.
is she on the current show?
It was the one that had
I don't think so.
Eddie in the laundry room.
The girl that dressed up in like the costumes?
The one that did the mermaid costume.
I don't think that girl's his type.
You know who I'm talking about, Joe?
I think so.
What? She good looking lady? You think?
She's a little bit crazy.
Just your type.
Oh yeah, that's my type. What's it called? Below deck. Below deck. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Google knows exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, she's very attractive.
You can't just Google below deck girls with curly hair. You're gonna like, no one on the show is unattractive. That's their shtick.
It's Rocky.
Yeah.
You what the that girl's fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah, look at her though.
Did you listen to her speak?
Yeah.
I don't know why I take things so personally. Like, I mean, I've said this before, but like, I think of you like a brother, and like when my brother likes somebody, I'm like, what? Are you fucking nuts? Look at her. And like, so I just can't believe that. That hurts me. I'm trying to be protective over you.
Raquel Dakota.
Yeah, she cray. Well, we know what you're doing later.
Or do you? Oh no. Anyways.
All right, what do you say we wrap this up?
Yeah, fair enough. Now,
Joe will
do you
have
think
to
you know
cut that whole thing
name?
out.
The-
Google.
I'm gonna watch some of it tonight.
You should.
Yeah, I am. But any parting thoughts for the people out there?
Come to Cleveland and party with us.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks. Joe's moving to Cleveland.
TBD. But thanks again, everyone, for tuning in here to another episode of Bottomless Bar. Hopefully you got something tonight. Try to drink at home if you haven't. I highly recommend it with Reposado or Añejo. It just gives it a lot more kind of a
Pizzazz.
Yeah, zhuzh.
Zhuzhy.
And if you have any, problems with things we said, and you work in a hotel, and I am wholly misrepresenting it, reach out to us. Let us know at bottomlessbar.1@gmail, on Twitter at bottomlessbar, on Instagram.
If you're into magicians, let us know.
Yeah, if you like getting mind freaked, then let us know. Let us know what genitals you like colliding with yours.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Anyways, have a good night, everyone.
Sorry.
Thanks again for
I
listening.
fucked you up. Good night,
I'm
guys.
sorry.
Thank you.
Bye.